Hey all, Space Marine here with another In the Crosshairs video and diving into this bombshell that was dropped today. And I say bombshell because we had one yesterday and then now today another big one. And yeah, I didn't expect to hear so soon the pre-order. I was expecting them maybe sometime this coming week, not the next day. And then with this, the timeline of it too is just kind of crazy to me because this is all right before Nova. Like, this is a lot of changes to the main faction, if we're being honest, of 40K. That's really going to shake up some things. Now, I don't know what's coming in this Codex, if there's going to be a lot of new units that we still haven't seen. I heard somewhere that there's a picture somewhere floating around the internet of a data sheet from the Codex that could potentially be a Primaris flyer that we still haven't seen yet. But the other thing is if there's a lot of different rules changes or points changes. And then the other big thing is this new chapter tactic mechanic that they're introducing, where you can kind of build your own custom chapters with a combination of chapter tactics that are in the Codex. And then now we also have these separate chapter tactic or chapter supplements coming out as well. So Ultramarines and White Scars will be the first two out. So again, what does that mean for people going into Nova at the end of the month that play other chapters that are not one of those supplements? Do they still use the chapter tactics that are in the current Codex that's about to be invalidated by this new Codex? It's very confusing as to how all that will work for those other chapters that haven't been released before this big Nova event. Another thing being looking at this timeline. So with the 10th being pre-orders for the Codex and the new character models, with them released on the 17th, that means that we'll see on the 17th probably pre-orders go up for like the Eliminators, Infiltrator, the War Suit, and the Impulsor, with release on the 24th, which is just 5 days away from Nova. So if people are wanting to, obviously we have Infiltrators and Eliminators available in the Shadow Spear box, but like the new War Suit and Impulsor obviously are not available. So if those are not released until the 24th, then that only gives people 5 days to assemble and paint. And for people that don't really that have a speedy way of painting or plenty of time, 5 days could be plenty of time for them to paint. But a lot of other people with full-time jobs and families and a lot of other things going on, just 5 days is impossible. So would they allow, if you use these new units, will they allow you to use them basically unpainted, just built in gray plastic? Is that a thing that will happen? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But it's just crazy to me that all this is happening right before a huge event like Nova and to the main faction of 40K. Yeah, so I'm not really sure how all that's gonna end up working out in the end. Yeah, I just don't know. Well, it's shocking to me. That's why I'm just completely shocked by the speed of this coming out with such a huge event on the horizon as Nova. And it's the 10th year anniversary of Nova, and so it's just a ton of people are going to be in attendance. And it's just, even if all the models released on the 10th, even if it was, pre-orders were now and everything, all models and Codex were coming on the 10th, I still feel like that is such a small window in crunch time. Kind of my other thing that I kind of wish would have happened, or I wish they would have done, would be to wait until after Nova and maybe beta ruled some of the new things that are in this Codex. Who knows? Maybe this is just a kind of a repackaging of the current Codex, just kind of bringing all the data sheets that have been floating everywhere and new units and stuff. I'm just kind of compiling them all into one Codex now, and then we will not really see any changes, I guess. There's obviously like a few things like the Angels of Death rule, which is now basically 3 separate rules are now under one umbrella for the Space Marines, but it's, I don't know, I kind of wish that there would have been maybe some beta rules and beta chapter tactics or something to that effect, or almost a beta Codex if there's a ton of changes in here that we would have seen come out for use for Nova, so then they can get their FAQ and errata out of the way, and then that way when they wait to print these books out, we have like a complete book that 2 weeks later or a month later even has a bunch of FAQ and erratas that now we have to carry around like extra pages in the back of the Codex just to have. So I don't know, it's very, very interesting. So but let's take a look at the rest of the article. I have a few kind of I don't know, ideas or thoughts on a few of these things. Just with my recent packing of my home to get ready to move and having to downsize and get rid of a lot of stuff, especially hobby stuff, I've definitely made a revelation myself that I'm going to go over here in a very short second, because we're going to dive right into one of the main points here. So, as it says, brace yourself. This is a big one. If you saw our highlights, the exclusive Warhammer preview that took place yesterday, the Apocalypse Mega Battle, you'll know Space Marines are resurgent and better than ever. In fact, the new Codex and the first wave of supplements and some shiny new miniatures will be up for pre-order next weekend. Let's break down what you can look forward to. So Codex, Space Marines, and then the Indominus edition. If you love Space Marines, this is an absolute make sure you get a hold of the Indominus edition, the new Codex. So right here, again, they do like this limited edition Codex thing. It looks absolutely stunning, beautiful. This is some kind of like, I don't know, card or something from Rubute, kind of charging, go forward and, kill the enemies of mankind. It comes with like this nice book, this nice kind of like raised artwork here. You got a nice Codex here, some tokens, data cards, and then this poster that has the kind of like the map of, I guess, the 40K universe. And on the other side is it says it has the chapters and stuff, so we'll kind of go over that here in a second. The Indominus edition comes presented in a specially designed box, is covered in embossed details, along with loads of awesome exclusives, such as a number certificate handwritten by Rubute Gilliman himself, inviting you to join the Indominus Crusade. So that's what this is. A double-sided poster features a galaxy map and shows the Space Marines' homeworlds and Crusade fleets on one side, and 103 examples of Space Marine chapters with their color schemes and chapter icons on the other side. Now, this part right here is the only part of this whole thing that actually really interests me. I really would love to get my hands on just this poster just to display this other side here. 10 Space Marine coins for objective markers, 124 cards, so we have, the data cards and stuff. So tactical objectives, psychic powers, stratagem, combat doctrines, litanies of battle, chapter tactics, 8 chapter tactics, and 19 successor chapter tactics. So that's, I wonder if this here will be the ones that you can kind of pick and choose from if you build your own. There's only going to be 800 copies. Don't miss out. So talking about this and the special editions and stuff, in the past, I've definitely gotten the limited edition special editions of the codexes, when they had the ones where they kind of broke it down by, you could get the chapter specific ones. I got, the salamanders, which were my main army for sure at the time. So I had, they still are one of my favorite Space Marines. They're my favorite first founding chapter for sure. So I got the Salamander Special Edition. There's two of them. I think it was like what was it, 6th and 7th, or 7th and 8th? I can't. We're in 8th now, so I guess it was 6th and 7th edition. Or there was one that was like weird. It was like the editions didn't drop too far from each other. Then they called it like 6.5 or 7.5. I can't remember, but anyway, so I had gotten those two as salamanders, and then after that, it was 8th edition, and the Primaris edition dropped, and I can't remember, it was like the Ultima Founding Special Edition or Limited Edition. I got that one, and then I realized on my move, because I would always get those limited editions, but I would still buy just a regular Codex for regular wear and tear use for games and stuff like that. But in that discovery, I realized, why am I spending all this money on this awesome collector's edition? Yes, they're great, but they just kind of sit and collect dust at the end of the day. And then if I want to turn around and try and sell them, if it's not the current edition, unless there's another collector somewhere that wants them, they don't retain their value. I mean, it's kind of like models in general. Like, once you buy them, even buying a brand new box of models and never opening them and keeping their shrink wrap, trying to sell them secondhand, you have to sell them at a discount. Otherwise, people just won't buy them, because I can buy I can buy that same thing for full price anywhere. What makes me want to buy it from you? So this hobby is definitely one that, unless you're building and painting them to a super high quality, secondhand, you're never gonna get. You're lucky if you break even when you try to go and sell stuff. And I think the same is true for these limited editions. Unless you get your hands on a limited edition, as soon as they come out. So we all know we'll see this here. There will be scalpers that will get it and put it up on eBay for outrageous prices. But eventually somebody will buy it. Maybe not for the exact outrageous price, but they'll make an offer that'll be just right. And that's kind of where these things come in to make money, and kind of get their value. But usually it's, when an actual fan or collector buys them and then later it's like, well, I need to get rid of them for whatever reason, they're going to lose out money more times than not, especially because it's probably been an edition or two ago. So as much as I love this and I think it looks great, and I really, honestly, of all the things in here, I just want this poster for the other side. I'm actually going to have to pass, as it's just what it is. I mean, I'm sure this will probably be $150 to $200 US, which is just a pretty penny in itself. And again, I'm just going to have to pass on it for now, unfortunately. So then, Codex Space Marines. So we have the regular Space Marines, Codex. Again, there is definitely a few things in here that I'm curious about. I'm not really sure the litanies of faith that can be bellowed forth by chaplains, so that seems new. But the customizable successor chapter tactics, and then the litanies of faith sounds very interesting. But yeah, so along with this, apparently this is for every chapter to use. Dark Angels, Blood Angels, everything. And there's a thing at the bottom here that we'll get into. But basically they said, if you ever wanted your Space Wolves to go into battle with a Storm Raven, they now can, apparently, because if it's in this codex, any chapter can use it. And then when the supplement chapter codexes come out, that's where we're going to see our specific chapter probably models like the Dark Talon and that Space Wolf, I can't remember that transport is now, the Storm Fang or something like that, will be in there. So then we have data cards again for Space Marines that are going to come out, so just another handy tool to have on hand. And then they talk about the Codex supplements, the Ultramarines and White Scars coming out, and then they're also going to have a limited edition cover whatever book as well, so you'll start seeing these as well. So again, this is my concern coming up here for Nova. If you have a first founding chapter that is not have a book out already, but then will you be able to still use your old chapter tactics for Raven Guard or Salamanders or whatever? I'm pretty sure they'll probably, I don't know, maybe those chapter tactics will still be in the main codex that you can use, where essentially you're building your Salamanders using the same chapter tactics that they've always had, but they're using it out of the codex, I guess. I don't know. It's really curious how this is going to work. I don't know. I'm very skeptical about this, especially with Nova right on the horizon. I'm very skeptical about the timing of this. I'd say not even skeptical. I'm just kind of very unhappy with it. This couldn't be the worst timing, especially for myself, going to Nova, just not knowing how this is all going to work, and if there's units that I want to use, like that new Dreadnought, or not Dreadnought, sorry, the new Warsuit, seems like it could have some really cool abilities and potentially be, I don't know, quite a frontline aggressor or harasser or whatever you want to say, to really get up there right away, and so we'll see how. How that, like I said, I'm just all over the place right now. I just can't barely contain all my thoughts on how just inconvenient this whole thing is with everything going on, because there's just so much unknown with how is this new codex going to work, what's in this new codex, as far as like, is there a lot of changes, or is it just a repackaging to kind of help usher in like these new models, package everything into one spot, and then to start splitting up the chapters into their own supplements. If it's something like that, then I can see where, okay, it won't be such a big deal for Nova, I guess. I don't know. I'm just, yeah. But then, of course, they're going to have their own data cards as well. And then we'll also see, it looks like everybody will be getting their own dice as well. I'm assuming that this is a 6. The unit symbol is a 6, the chapter symbol. And then I'm guessing this helix is probably a 1 for like, they failed, so they, get the apothecary over here type of a thing. I'm not sure, but we'll see. And then they say the newish miniatures. So we have Tigerius, the Chief Librarian, and then Khan will be released. And the other thing that's kind of interesting, which is kind of nice also, but they're also releasing the Lieutenant from Wake the Dead separate. So we'll finally be able to purchase a Lieutenant outside of a box set. Like, that's one thing that they have not done yet, aside from like the store anniversary models. But they haven't actually released a standalone model yet of a Lieutenant. So this is kind of, I guess, nice in a way. And then you can also think of it, they're still releasing Primaris Lieutenants in a way. I'd actually haven't checked out the Primaris Lieutenant Twitter account that they have to see if he makes mention of the fact that, like, oh, see, I told you we're getting more Lieutenants, which would be kind of funny. But yeah. Yeah, so of everything, oh, I forgot. Yeah, we go at White Scar upgrades with transfer sheets as well. So to make things a little bit easier there. And then they have a cool video here of different people from Games Workshop kind of reflecting on Space Marines and how they first came in and how iconic Space Marines are in general. But yeah. So again, I just can't get over like how the timing of this is just crazy. Like, unfortunately, I'm actually probably going to probably pre-order this Lieutenant, because I didn't get Wake the Dead, and I actually did buy a Wake the Dead Lieutenant off of eBay, but I used them to convert into something else. But I'll probably pre-order this one and just build him as is, so I do have the Wake the Dead Primaris Lieutenant. I have no plans on getting these two models right off the bat. I may get them eventually and do a conversion with them. They're both. I definitely love his pose and everything. I could use him in some kind of a way with my Star Commanders. I could definitely see some cool possibilities there. And then again here, just kind of change some things out and put them into my Star Commanders. But again, I'm not in a rush to get them right now. And then obviously I'm not going to get any of this stuff because I don't play any of these, and my Star Commanders are technically, well, they're not just technically, they're not any of these successor chapters of these two. Again, won't be getting any of these right now. Don't play them. We'll be pre-ordering the data cards and, of course, the regular Codex. But then, like I said before, as much as I would love to, it's going to be too expensive. Just usually they are. Not that that's stopped me in the past. And really, like, I just want this cool poster. So maybe I'll get lucky, and maybe somebody will be selling just the poster online. But I'm also curious to see what the other side of the poster looks like. If it's like the old school poster that you see, they kind of give away a lot of store openings. Obviously, this one looks like it would be a lot bigger if it is, but I'm not sure. It says 103 chapters on it, so I'm curious just what that other side looks like to see if I am actually 100% interested. But either way, it seems like it'd be a cool thing to put up on the wall or whatever, your hobby space or something like that. But yeah, so. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, or yeah, I'm very shocked and a bit disappointed with the timing of this. It couldn't be at the worst time, not just for The fact that I've got Nova coming up, well, actually, I mean, that is for the reason why. Because with Nova coming up, not knowing just what these changes or what kind of changes we're going to see, and then with new models coming out and just not having the time, because essentially it's going to keep me from using them at Nova if the requirement is still going to be they have to be, you know, basically 3-color minimum, which is usually what the events there require, like most tournaments. And I myself definitely do not have the time to. I mean, I've still got stuff now that I'm trying to get up to par in time for Nova, much less try to get a bunch of new stuff built and painted with like 5 days to go. With full-time job, school, family, you know, I got kids running around everywhere, so it's really hard to get to that that deadline of Nova. So I'll be pretty upset in a way, and if I find that they're really good at, you know, their points cost and what they do, you know, with the new Impulsor and Warsuit, and I can't use them because I'm not going to sacrifice painting my models to my theme and my standard just to get them on the board for an event. I'll just have to figure out another way and just kind of deal with it. Yeah. We'll definitely see. The other problem I kind of have with everything is the fact that I have Nova coming up, so there's a lot of hobby money budgeted for that trip that essentially I have to split now between getting new Codex and models and stuff. Now, obviously, I could wait to get the new models if they end up not being anything. It is kind of nice that we'll at least get the Codex in hand ahead of time before like the new Warsuit and Impulsor are available. So, but I won't have a lot of time because basically it'll come out in hand that weekend that they go up for pre-order. So it's basically I have to flip through the Codex and kind of try to figure out that day, am I pre-ordering or not? Because I could always wait till after Nova, or even just pick them up at Nova, which is always an opportunity or a possibility to do. So we will see. All right, well, again, leave your comments below. Let me know what you guys think. Are you happy about this? I think a lot of people are probably happy in general, but if you're going to Nova like myself, I'm not as excited with the timing of this. It's still an exciting time to get the new models, new Codex and everything, but like I said, I know personally for myself, the timing could not be worse for all this change and all this new stuff. Right now, I could have appreciated it had to come a little, you know, closer to the end of August to where things were released in early September instead of at the end of the month. But I guess all those rumors that we kept hearing that we're going to see a new Codex and stuff in August were true. That's kind of crazy. When we first saw them reveal that there was going to be a new Codex yesterday, I did not expect them to say that not only is it going to be a new Codex, it's like, you know, when the end of the video said coming soon, I guess I just didn't expect it to be coming this soon. It almost should have said coming immediately. So, yeah. But yeah, again, let me know what you think. Check out the rest of the YouTube channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I greatly appreciate that and the support, and hit the notification bell and all that so you can stay up to date as I make my updates again. I try to make them as frequently and as consistently as I can, but, you know, my daytime job and life, family, all that really can put a hamper in that sometimes. But again, I still try to make updates when I can. But I do make a lot of regular updates on my Facebook. So if you haven't checked out the Facebook page with Paint Marine, definitely check it out in the link in the description below and check out what I've got going on there. And I guess that'll be it for now. And until next time.